first year in LA, because at that time it was '82. You know, the Rats and the Motley Crues and all that type of stuff was kind of spreading its thing through all the LA clubs. So we show up in our unwashed jeans and T-shirts and with our bullet belts and our you know, acne and the whole thing.
You guys were scary looking.
And they were just looking at us going like, what fucking hole did you crawl out from? And no, it was actually the other way around. It fueled us. It actually gave us more, you know, it fueled us. You were angry, like, hey, fuck you, we're going to do it our way. We had a lot of contrary energy the first couple of years,
It's funny, I don't think of you guys as the traditional rock stars. You're sort of the anti-rock stars. But yet, you did indulge in the groupie thing and the drug thing a lot.
Yeah.
No, a lot of coke?
Yes. Well, I've
yes, drugs. Women. The women thing. What
wow.
I ran off with one of Dave Mustaine's girlfriends. That was the.
Was that your first?
That was the first.
That's how you lost your virginity.
Yes. Dave Mustaine was a very, very cool guy. He looked fantastic. He was very socially competent. He was like king shit in Huntington Beach, and he had a whole circle of people around him. And there was a lot of you know, and he came over and we formed Myth Band, and that was in October of '81.
Interesting.
30 years ago, because it was always a lot of chest beating and who was cooler and who had
Did you really think that? Did you ever think Metallica was going to be a huge band? Did you? I mean, you guys ended up selling the 60-something million albums, and you made more. How many albums have you sold? I don't even know the number.
100 million?
100 million?
North of 100, yeah.
North of 100 million.
With the audience, it was all Mustaine the first couple of years.
Isn't it amazing? The first gig you do, is it a disaster?
Yes, absolutely. Radio City Radio City in Anaheim, California, not the Radio City.
That's your first gig?
Across
it's
the street.
not our Radio
Radio City.
Radio City, Anaheim, California, a Sunday night in March 1982. There was probably about 100 people there.
Are the 100 people your friends, or are they?
They were all. Remember what I said about Dave Mustaine?
Yeah.
They were all Dave Mustaine's friends. we had no friends. It was all you know, the Dave Mustaine fan club, and so we we're playing the first song, which was "Hit the Lights," and halfway through "Hit the Lights." I've been on stage at this time 3 minutes in my life. Dave Mustaine breaks a string on his guitar, and of course at that time there's no backup guitars and there are no roadies. So so Dave Mustaine, after the first song, you know, I mean, you can hear a fucking pin drop in there, right? So Dave Mustaine has to go through the process of changing his own guitar string, and that took. I'd say 5 minutes at least. I'm sitting up there trying to hide behind the fucking drums. James doesn't know what to say. I mean, it was
because James doesn't exactly have patter he can give, right?
No, I mean, James was the singer, but the first year in Metallica, Dave Mustaine used to do all the communicating with. He used to do all the stage banner because James was so with the audience. It was all Mustaine the first couple of years.
Isn't it amazing?
Don't kid yourself. You know, don't really like Kirk because he got my job, but, you know, I nailed his girlfriend before I left.
That March, aspiring metal manager Johnny Zazula heard the tape and convinced Metallica to move to New York.
Are you planning to do any recording soon? May 1st, Rochester, New York.
With James Hetfield's pickup in tow, Metallica hit the road in a U-Haul.
The back went down and you were locked in there, and whatever happened back there, you know, if you could afford a flashlight, you were king, you know. But there was no light, no anything back there. You just get rotted and sleep, you know, hopefully. And hope the gear didn't fall and crush you.
While I was in the back of this truck, rust came down from the ceiling and got in my eyes. I said, I gotta get to an emergency room because I've got metal shavings in my eyes. And they didn't want to stop till we got to Old Bridge.
Dave's dark side soon got the best of him.
There's two kinds of drunks. There's happy drunks and there's violent drunks. And I would get violent.
He just,
because of my disease,
went like totally psycho on some people in this restaurant and almost caused this big fight.
We started to see that he was on the road to killing possibly all of us.
Before they even reached New York, James and Lars were listening to other bands' demos, hoping to find a replacement for Dave Mustaine.
We're playing tapes in the cab of the truck while he's asleep in the back on some stained mattress. I mean, that was the whole ugliness of that U-Haul trip.
Metallica arrived in New York in April of '83. Their first order of business was to rid themselves of Dave Mustaine.
All I remember was waking up and then being circled around me, and I just looked up.
Wake up, Dave, you know.
Get up, you're out of the band. And I said, what, no warning, no second chance?
It was almost like execution style. We just walked in, woke him up, fired him, grabbed him in his shit and took him down to the bus stop, and the whole thing took, 45 minutes.
It does sound pretty bad, wake up, bye, but it really had to happen that way.
The breakup was hard on everybody.
I remember this like it was yesterday. I was sitting in the back of James's pickup when they drove me to the bus station. I looked at James and he was weeping.
We were brothers up to that point, and then some.
Don't really like Kirk because he got my job, but, I nailed his girlfriend before I left.
Dave spent the next 4 days on a bus bound for Los Angeles, seething over his expulsion.
I hated him. I was so mad at them, and I figured I need to regroup, and I need to start over again because now I'm going to get revenge. Part of the whole reason why I formed Megadeth was to get back at them.
Mustaine's challenge to Metallica began coming together just 2 months later in his Hollywood apartment complex.
That was Dave Mustaine's apartment right up there.
There was some guy living underneath me.
And I was living right down below.
And he was playing bass first thing in the morning, full blast.
It was Running with the Devil by Van Halen, so I was sitting there going, bum, bum, bum.
I have nothing against Van Halen, but that's the most horrible bass line to listen to if you're hungover.
Bum, bum, bum.
And all of a sudden, I hear this flower pot come smashing down onto my air conditioner. And I heard this guy yelling, "Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!"
And it stopped.
The bass player was 18-year-old David Ellefson, a native of the tiny town of Jackson, Minnesota.
All I wanted to do was be in a rock band. That was it.
In the summer of '83, David left Minnesota and headed to
LA. That's where they're going to do drugs, they're going to do this and that and the other. But we thought, well, he was going to school, and
I told my parents, well, look, there's a school out there called Musicians Institute. Maybe I'll go there.
Although he was accepted into the school, David would never take a class because within days, he collided with Dave Mustaine.
Well, these neighbors aren't too friendly here in California like they are back in Minnesota.
I hear this on my door, and I open the door, and there's these two kids.
Gives me this kind of like condescending look. The infamous Mustaine snarl.
And they go, "Hey, you know where to get some cigarettes?" And I went,
"Yeah, down the street at the liquor store," and slams the door in my face.
"Hey, are you old enough to buy beer?" And I said, "Now you're talking."
We hooked up and went down the street, got a case of Heineken.
The rest is history. That's how David Ellefson got in the band.
Mustaine quickly took Ellefson under his wing, introducing him to hard drugs and a frantic musical style.
He was playing this stuff, and I was just, I was mesmerized. I was like, I had never heard anything like that before. That is cool.
The two began auditioning lead singers for the band, but none of them could match Mustaine's intensity.
Dave was driven, you know? I mean, you could almost say that he is possessed in a way. I remember the night that Dave just said, fuck it, I'm just gonna sing,
Even before the band's lineup was complete, Dave Mustaine had settled on a name for it, a word he'd stumbled upon during his darkest hour.
When I came home from New York in the bus, there was a handbill. I was writing lyrics on the back of everything. I'm bored, so I flip it over, and it's from Senator Alan Cranston, and he says, "The Arsenal of Megadeth can't be written." I thought, great song title, so I write the song Megadeth.
But the song turned into Set the World Afire. Megadeth minus 1A became the name of the band.
Remember?
Oh, yeah, Megadeth. Here we go.
Buzz about the formation of the new band ran rampant throughout the metal underground.
The network started to spread information, and it spread like wildfire.
We would get letters from all around the world.
And I remember all these kids writing, "Man, it's going to be fast, it's going to be fast, it's got to be fast." And one day we go to rehearsal, and everything's bumped up about 20 beats per minute. Next thing you know, we're a speed metal band. I mean, it happened like that.
Now Megadeth needed to add to their numbers. In November '83, jazz fusion vet Gar Samuelson arrived for an audition and made a searing impression.
The guy comes, and he falls asleep with the cigarette in his hand, and it burns right clear through his fingers, and I thought, this is rad.
Behind the drum set, it was just like he was like a praying mantis or something, you know? And you just could not see what he was doing. It was something to watch him play.
And as the band began playing gigs, the metal audience was all too ready for the man too maniacal for Metallica.
The people in the audience were just freaking out, man. I mean, Dave could have told them, all right, go out on the street right now and kill the first person you see, and they would have, you know? That's the kind of vibe it was.
Guitarist Chris Poland, who'd played with Gar Samuelson in a jazz band, instantly went backstage and asked in to Gar's new group.
They gave us such an unpredictable chemistry, not only because of the drug part, but because of the playing part. Chris is an amazing guitar player, could play circles around me, and he wanted to be in the band, and that was the first real lineup. It was Gar, Chris, David Ellefson, and myself.
With his lineup complete, Dave Mustaine was finally ready to answer Metallica with a band of his own.
And people were just frantic. I mean, it was just like electricity.
I had never seen anything like that. No one ever reacted to music like that.
So we're staying over in Bucharest, and your itinerary says you are too. So
okay, that would be great.
So we can all go hang out. And you know, listen, we want to bring the kids. I mean, it's
if you're cool with that, yeah.
Cool.
Because I know that they want to be part of the whole experience. This is so crazy for anybody to be part of this. It's just enormous.
Your kids are awesome.
Thanks.
I can't wait. I have I have my little guy out. The other ones are.
What's his name?
Bryce.
Bryce.
He's 3 years old. He's a little rascal.
Children, right?
Huh?
You have other kids, all right?
Yeah, I have 3 kids and a stepson.
Because I remember you having.
I have a 12-year-old named Miles.
Yeah,
9-year-old.
Miles.
Yeah.
That's who he was.
Yeah.
I remember that little boy.
I don't know if I told you the other day, but I told Dave that his favorite band was Megadeth for about a year. So about in 07. Huh? In 07, 08, we would every morning we got in the car. And I'm taking him to school. We listen to Megadeth.
Coming down to the part about the violence, you know, if I was at a party and I saw someone hit you again, I'd break his leg again in a second. That's just my nature. I'm overprotective to the people that I love. You know, and every time I see Phil, you know, I feel bad for him. But I wasn't going to let him hurt you.
Who's Phil?
Sandoval from Armored Saint. Don't you remember me breaking his leg?
Oh, I don't remember it was him. I remember the incident.
He pushed you down and he hurt you. I made sure he didn't hurt you again. You didn't fuck with my band members. I'm not mad at you, Lars.
I don't know.
You know, and I don't want anything from anybody. You know, I still have my dreams. But don't kid yourself.
What do you mean?
We're back with Dave Mustaine, lead guitarist, singer, songwriter for the heavy metal group Megadeth. Your new album, Rust in Peace, is different from some of your previous work. How is it different?